Hello there, and welcome back to another soliloquy from Dungeons and Decisions. We now find ourselves returning to the Wizard's Choice, which I have posted the first part much earlier in the on the channel, and I will link to this video. But I'm coming back here after attempting to read into Demon's Choice, and we discovered that these two stories, Demon's Choice and Wizard's Choice, are connected. And in fact, connected in such a way that a major spoiler for Wizard's Choice would be revealed if I were to continue on with Demon's Choice. So I instead decided to move over here to Wizard's Choice and use my recording time for today to read on in this story and further the plot a bit. Let's get us closer to that pivotal moment where those stories cross. Once we get there, I will return to Demon's Choice and continue to read both stories parallel to each other as far as they go, just so that we can maintain the continuity of those events without them spoiling each other. Of course, feel free to just follow through with this story if you're already interested in the first part but didn't want even the slightest bit of spoiler from Demon's Choice, or head over to Demon's Choice and get a little sample of what that reading is like. It is... I tried to avoid any kind of spoiler, and I did stop early, but to be fair, it still does lay out some events that you may not want to know are coming if you are following along with Wizard's Choice. So let that choice be yours. Just know that I will get there eventually. So if you decide not to go over the Demon's Choice right now, don't worry, you won't miss anything if you just follow along with Wizard's Choice. Okay? That being said, let's continue on from this checkpoint. Last we left off, if I remember properly, our wizard and his knight friend, or Reginald, were just done interacting with a ghostly duchess, and we had met up with a young woman who was being held captive and handcuffed. We freed her, but told her to hide. Don't try to run out yet, because her captors might still be on the property and see her. So we thought it'd be best for her to travel with us. We would continue to explore, but we still wanted her to hide just in case something happened to us, or still wanted to set her free just in case something happened to us and we weren't able to reunite with her. So that's kind of the last thing that I remember going on in this story, and that's where we're picking back up with this checkpoint. The two of you continue through the castle. Occasionally, you hear distant things, a shout, a crash, even voices. Soon, you come to a door with light streaming out through its cracks. You open the door ever so slightly and peek in. You see a cloaked man frantically pacing back and forth. Candles burn throughout the chamber. There are beds along the walls. Aside from the candlelight, moonlight streams in from holes in the roof of the ruin. Got an excellent visual there. As the man turns back to face you, his cloak is open, revealing a muscled frame inked with tattoos. You think you make out at least one of the tattoos. You think you make out at least one of the tattoos to be the symbol of Naru, goddess of the undead. This reminds you of the tattooed body of a man hung in the city square only a month ago. He was believed to be an evil priest of Naru and was accused of terrible crimes, including raising zombies. Like all priests of Naru are wise and have strong willpower. They also are able to harvest power from their deity to cast dangerous spells. However, you have the element of surprise, and there's only one of them. We can attack with spells, which will cost us 2 mana. We currently have 4 mana. We can attack without spells, or we can cast a charm spell on him. Well, we definitely don't want to cast a charm spell on him. Or we can also spy for a bit. So right now, we can cut out casting a charm spell on him, because we were already told that priests of Nerul are wise and have strong willpower. So you don't want to try mind spells. They will fail. It would be a waste of mana and time. We could attack, but I don't want to assume that he's alone. So I think it's always smarter to collect more information and just spy for a bit. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to spy for a bit. We got an achievement unlocked. Sneaky, nasty, tricksy player reader. Preater. I don't think I'm tricksy or nasty. I'm definitely more just cautious, and I'm just being realistic. I just want to gain information first. All right. But we did get a morale increase of 1. So our morale is currently 14 now.
Where is she? How could she escape?
The man mutters to himself.
The sacrifice must appease him,
he whispers. Sacrifice, you think? No doubt he is referring to human sacrifice, Nerul's favorite sort.
What, my mistress?
He whispers, tilting his head.
Danger?
You didn't hear anyone else. He must be talking to himself again. A moment later, the priest starts walking toward the door you have cracked open. Quickly, you move away out of sight and listen for a few seconds. You hear nothing, not even footsteps. What do you do? Could attack with spells, attack without spells, or wait. The assumption here would be that he's been notified of danger, and so his goddess is aware of us spying on him, and so now he's coming to the door aware of us too. We would probably expect that it would be good to attack to take on the element of surprise. But again, I'm not tricksy. I feel like he's not aware of us. And it just never serves you to act, to like leap before you look, and to act too fast. I want to know for sure that he knows we're there before we attack. Which basically means I don't plan on utilizing the element of surprise. I'd rather just not attack if we don't have to move through this place, find anyone, any items or whatever, and then get the heck out with that, the sacrifice, the girl, preferably without anyone knowing we were even there. I know that's naive, that's wishful thinking, but that's where my head's at right now. And so that being said, I'm going to select wait. Yeah. Push your luck. Achievement unlocked. There we go. I was too cautious. Push it real good. I am not going to sing that. Who am I kidding? Dun, da, dun, 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 da, 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 da. All right. Nice visual. Nice achievement. I learned my lesson. Life decreases by 2. You decide to wait a few more seconds. After all, the last time you saw him, he was heading toward this door. What a great ambush. Suddenly, the door opens and the man is there, his finger pointed toward you. There is a crackle and a black bolt of energy slices into you. Evidently, he saw you after all. Either that, or he was told that you were there, perhaps by his deity. Reginald charges in. The priest ducks back as Reginald swings his sword, but not fast enough. The blade slashes his shoulder. He tries to run, chanting something, likely a prayer to his foul god. He never finishes it. Reginald cuts him down with one great cleave. I gotta say it every time. Reginald, MVP. Keep it up, boy. We are gonna keep you fed. All right, continue. I mean, if I'm going to be an idiot out here, somebody has to be actually carrying their weight. And Reginald is doing it. He's definitely, I mean, I'm not saying that the wizard that I'm playing is useless, but I mean, NPC Reginald is goated. Now that you are in the room, you can see that you're in living quarters. There are simple beds along the walls and a good-sized chest in the corner. Treasure, you think, as you run over and try to lift the lid. Locked. That Nerulian priest did not die quietly, so perhaps you should have Reginald smash the lid with his sword and then get out of there. On the other hand, there ought to be a key around somewhere. Maybe you should take a few seconds to check. What do? Break the chest or search around a bit? He wasn't that loud, right? Oh, well, I mean, there's a bolt shooting out and he was stabbed in the shoulder and then cleaved in half. Like, yeah, he was probably putting up a ruckus. Still, we killed one, we can kill another. Let's take a second to look for the key instead of breaking the chest. I mean, it might be booby-trapped or something. I don't know. Let's search around for a bit. We might even find other things. You stand guard while I search, you say to Reginald. You kick the body of the priest over. The corpse is a bloody mess, but you don't have time to be dainty about it. The man is nude other than the cloak and a golden amulet around his neck. The amulet is an unholy symbol of Nerul, the goddess of the dead. The amulet is an unholy symbol of Nerul, the goddess of the undead. You would never keep such an evil thing, but it's coated in gold, so you could have it melted down. You rummage through his sticky cloak, and sure enough, you find a key. You trot over to the chest, key in hand. The key has the same hue of metal as the lock, and you are optimistic that it will fit. You are fumbling with the key when you hear something off in the distance, and a chill goes down your spine. Are more coming? Did they hear the priest cry out? Normally, you are cautious with chests, having heard that they are sometimes trapped. However, searching the chest for traps will take time, and you're not particularly skilled in trap detection. What do? It has a key. I don't have time to check for traps. Traps are for people without keys. That's why I didn't want to break it. We have the key. Just open it. Use the key now. Gold increases by 80. What kind of booby trap is going to spring on someone with the proper key? Exactly. Thank you. You think to yourself. You carefully insert the key into the lock. It's a fit. You close your eyes as you turn the key. The top of the chest pops open as though on a spring, and nothing happens. You exhale in relief. Inside is a bag full of gold pieces, some platinum engraved china, and a small black-bound writing book. You gather up your loot and hurry out of the room. The two of you have only taken a few steps into the dark hallway when you see flickering light up ahead. You could run back into the room and hide, prepare a firebolt to cast down the hall, or cast an illusion to try to distract whoever is coming. I like the illusion notion. Especially since if we made an illusion of the other cultists, we might be able to get them to just turn around and leave. Yeah, but I don't know if the illusions can make noise. It's probably just a visual illusion. I'm still going to go with illusion instead of prepare spell. Prepare spell does allow that to be cheaper, because I think if I were to just cast the firebolt, it would be like 3 mana. Or no, I think it's 2 mana, but I get to shoot it off first. I think that's what it is. I'm not going to hide back in the room. I don't want to corner myself. We're going to cast the illusion. An interesting choice. You wave your hands and infuse yourself with magical energy. Now you must prepare in your mind the illusion. In order to project a convincing illusion, it is best to have picked something you have seen before, but you are tempted to pick something fearsome in order to scare them. What will the illusion be of? Well, I don't know if he's ever seen a dragon, but we definitely know we've seen a horde of goblins right outside. So, obviously, always pick dragon. No, I'm kidding. We're going to go with a horde of goblins. All right. Oh, excellent. Mana decreases by 2. Gold increases by 60. We have 240 gold right now. I don't know what we'll spend it on, but we've got 240 gold. And morale increases by 1. We're feeling pretty happy, obviously, with 240 gold. That often does that to morale. You cast the spell, and a horde of illusionary goblins armed with spears materialize, running down the hall, yipping and snarling. So they do make noise. That is good to take note of. Okay. Reginald has worked with your illusions before. He knows what to do. He runs down the hall at a pace just behind your goblins, sword drawn. Around the corner appears 2 cloaked men priests of Nerul, you suppose. Around the corner appears 2 cloaked men, priests of Nerul, you suppose. They freeze for a moment, completely taken by surprise, and then begin hurling bolts of darkness at the goblins in the front of the charge. The bolts go through the illusions, and you can see in their torchlight that the priests are furious at being tricked. Too late for them. Reginald closes on them with his sword and cuts them both down. You take the time to search the bodies and find golden, unholy symbol medallions on each of them, as well as 1 silver dagger. Not bad for 20 seconds of work. I tire of looting corpses. Let us be off to find the merchants and a glorious reward, you exclaim. But let's continue. Stat booster available. You can spend luck points to improve your stats and possibly get you through tough parts. You will now find an option to boost survival stats at the bottom of your choices. Okay. So we could use luck to increase our mana or our life. Okay, interesting. And why they say that now? Are things about to get like really tough or something? Alright, well, let's continue. Off you go, deeper into the castle. Soon you find yourself in a library. However, All the books are gone from the tall wooden shelves, either stolen or destroyed. As a wizard, this is disappointing to you. All castle libraries have secret doors, you announce. After searching for a little while, you notice a small statue of a winged boy reading a book worked into the stone wall. You press on the statue's arm, and it shifts down. There is a grinding sound, and you see the bookshelf nearby crack open from the wall. You wedge your fingers into the gap and pry open the door. Immediately before you are stairs descending down a stairway that is lit by a faint green light. Dear reader, normally I would give you a choice of whether or not you go down the stairs, but really, who finds a secret door and chooses not to investigate? Fair enough. I like that note. And so you descend a few steps and then listen. It's deathly quiet down here and chilly. You urge Reginald to take the lead. After all, he's wearing the armor.
Where's this green light coming from?
Asks Reginald, holding his sword at the ready.
It is as though, he gulps, as though it oozes out of the walls.
Highly unusual, I will admit, you say. Magic of some sort. I do not need a wizard.
I do not need a wizard to tell me that it is magic of some sort. Unlike you, I am not comfortable with the unnatural. I trust your magic and only your magic, and that barely.
Well, I am fairly certain that down those stairs is where the treasure is, or at least where the glory is, you say.
Where the evil is,
mutters Reginald as he begins climbing down, taking the lead. There is a small metal lever on the inside of the passage that you suppose is what you use to open the door from the inside. Nevertheless, you decide to leave the door open. The last thing you need is to get trapped in this nasty smelling place. It is some time before you finally reach a small, empty chamber. There is a mysterious mist that has settled near the floor, which Reginald expresses his displeasure with. On the far wall is a large iron door. Scrawled over the door in rusty red dye, or more likely, dried blood, is a set of elaborate symbols.
Gods, what is that?
Says Reginald, pointing his sword at the door. Ah, I like it. Yeah, the mist on the floor, iron door with the red symbols on it. Got it. Okay, Reggie. Got a looker here. Okay. It is writing in the infernal tongue, you say. A language of devils, demons, and other beasts that inhabit the nightmare universes.
At times I do not envy your knowledge,
says Reginald with a faint shudder. The study of magic leads to many dark places, you say. The trick is to not wander too far into the void.
What does it say?
Asks Reginald in a tone that is not at all enthusiastic or curious. You study the symbols. They are crudely drawn, as though in haste, perhaps scrawled by bloody fingers. I cannot be sure. I believe it is a ward of some sort, a protection spell.
A protective spell using such foul language. A protective spell using such a foul language. Reginald sniffs. I would expect a curse or a fiendish summoning. It is protecting against such a summoning. A barrier, you say. Evil knows evil best, and a spellcaster of black magic understands the need to protect himself from the terrors they bring into this world. Reginald grimaces and points the tip of his sword at the warded door. If only a fool would go down there. Although, I am more a man of curiosity than wisdom. You slap his shoulder, making a dull sound against his breastplate. Ha! As you have proven time and again. What do you want to do? Okay. You made us come down here because you're saying who would find a secret door in a bookcase? Who would find a secret door in a bookcase and avoid exploring it? But then we get down here to a door that he just explicitly described as being warded against evil, probably because it's holding something evil back there. And the only options we have are open the door and leave? Like, there's nothing else around here to look around and investigate? Okay. If you say so. I really don't want to open that door. But there's nothing else to do down here, then what was the point of us coming down here? So I kind of feel like I have to open the door because we followed the green light down here. And if we were going to come like this far, we may as well open the door and just, I don't know, just be ready to slam it shut really quickly. All right, I open the door. Achievement unlocked. I'm an adventurer, damn it. Boldly, you step forth. Never a wuss. I don't know about all that. Like I said, I'm more of a cautious person, but let's see where it takes us. Maybe there's a treasure room beyond, you joke. Fortune and glory, my friend, Reginald says with a broad smile. The large iron door shudders and screeches as Reginald slowly pries it open. Once open, your friend's face drops, and you soon realize why. A powerful stench wafts up from the dark stairs below. He takes a deep breath and plunges down the stairway. Okay, I'm going to need you to slow all the way down, Reginald, because I'm not entirely convinced I should be plunging down this stairway. Okay, let's continue. The two of you descend for some time before you enter a large room eerily illuminated by green flaming torches fastened to each of the walls. Near the far wall is a dais leading up to an altar with skulls inlaid into the frame, some human, others of animals or perhaps monsters. The lower altar is blood-stained and covered with candles in golden candle holders arranged around a book. The book is bound in what might very well be mummified human skin, with hand and finger bones embedded into the cover as though the book were in the grasp of the dead. The title is in Infernal, but you don't recognize the words. Beyond the book is a raised part of the altar, white stone,
seemingly scoured clean of bloodstains. This surface has more candles, a golden cup, and a large golden bowl filled with some dark liquid, maybe blood. Just before the altar is a narrow but deep pit. Shining the lantern in, you make out something gleaming white, a skeletal arm and hand. Reginald adds his light to yours, and you can now see a heap of bodies at various stages of decay. The heap is crawling with rats and other vile scavengers. Sacrifices, the source of the stench, you mutter. I would bet my last copper that Sibba's father and the rest of the caravan are among them. Reginald makes a face of disgust.
I say we swiftly pilfer what we can from this unholy place and leave.
As he says this, the bowl on the upper altar begins to tremble as the candlelight around it ripples.
Something is coming, you whisper. It is already here, says Reginald.
Smoke billows up from the bowl and begins taking the form of a horned fiend. His glowing, pitiless eyes rove about the chamber, taking in everything. Nice visual.
Demon!
You shout. Despite the terrified look on his face, Reginald has already unslung his backpack as though preparing to scoop valuables from the altar. He might have the right idea. After all, you came here for loot, and it might take a moment for the shadow beast to fully take form. That strange book might be valuable. Finally, maybe you can disrupt this fiend's arrival by knocking over the bowl. But do you dare? After all, this monster hasn't acknowledged you yet, and messing about with his bowl is likely a dangerous way to introduce yourself. What do you do? I agree. The bowl that the smoke is coming out of, it might stop him coming if we were to spill it over, but it might just continue to come from the liquid. Like, it might be too late, and touching the bowl might draw its attention. I feel like if it hasn't noticed us, we should take advantage of that, but I also don't want to leave empty-handed. So if Reginald is grabbing a few chalices and stuff, I'm going to grab that book. Oh man, that book. The skin book with the skeleton hand. I don't know. I feel like the book. So he's a wizard, and he even knows the language of Infernal. So I feel like the book might have a lot of valuable stuff in it for him. Like, obviously it wouldn't mean anything to Reginald, but for him, I definitely feel like we shouldn't just not grab the book. But I also don't want to get too involved and disrupt. I just want to get out. So I'm going to grab the book and run. Okay. Loot and run. I see we got gold increases by 100. I'm guessing that's from what Reginald put in his backpack. Or maybe it's the book. I don't know what the book is going to be worth that. But life decreases by 1. So we do get noticed. We get hurt. We still got 9 life left, though. Loot and run, you whisper as you open your backpack and toss the book into your bag. Reginald gets to work blowing out candles and throwing the golden candlesticks into his backpack. You follow his example. You have nearly cleared off the lower table of the altar when you hear,
"Your souls are mine."
The voice is a hiss, and its words are in the infernal language.
Now we run, you shout as you turn, slinging on your backpack. Actually, it said that voice was a hiss. I don't know. We'll come back to that. A terrible cold grips your shoulder, making you scream. Breaking free of the cold, you bolt up the stairs, leaping 3 steps at a time. At one point, you make the mistake of looking back. The shadow fiend has morphed into something larger and even more frightening. Its eyes burn with hatred, and its maw is open wide as though ready to swallow the world. It is gaining on you. Oh my goodness. That is horrifying. Yeah, you don't want to look back and see that. I agree. You turn back and focus on sprinting up the stairs. Soon, there is a wheezing snarl not far behind. You make it through the large iron door covered with blood-drawn symbols. The door is heavy and the hinges are tight. Nevertheless, you expect that if you hurl your weight against it, you can knock it shut. But this will take time and the demon is nearly upon you. What do? There is no way in heaven, hell, or God's green earth that I'm going to keep running and not close the door with the protective wards on it. There is no way. No shot. Obviously, I'm going to close it. Or it says try to close it. I get it. And I already got injured once. But no, we're closing this door. Okay, I didn't see immediate death, so looks like we might have been okay. You run into the room, turn back, and slam your weight against the door, which grudgingly shuts with a whine of its hinges. Well, it almost shuts. Some debris has fallen in the way, keeping it open a crack. There is a snarl, and the door shakes, but the arcane symbols scrawled on the door appear to be a ward meant to provide a barrier to spirits. You would like to open the door enough to kick the debris out of the way and shut it properly, but you don't dare. Instead, you concentrate on running as fast as possible up the stairway after Reginald. As you reach the secret door in the library, there is a great bang that echoes from below, followed by a jubilant shout of freedom. Keep running, you shout to Reginald. He does not seem to need this encouragement as he sprints out the library door. You follow him out of the library and down several passageways. Rounding a corner, you are suddenly in a large room filled with a soft light of dozens of candles. In the middle are 3 of the evil priests holding hands and surrounding what appears to be a pile of corpses. The men are chanting in the infernal language. One of the corpses begins to twitch. Oh, come on. Just to the side of the priest stands the massive ogre. Oh, wow. That's a no. The ogre fixes his cold, dark eyes upon Reginald. Meanwhile, the corpse that had been twitching springs up to its feet with alarming speed. You think you recognize him as one of the priests you killed earlier. The undead creature levels its hungry gaze upon you. What do? Oh, we're in a bad spot. I have 2 mana. And both the things that we can do cost more than that. So all I can do is attack
these guys with my dagger or run, I think we're going to try boosting survival stats. Forgive me for not just rolling with what's happening. I really want to charm the ogre because it's not often that we encounter someone stupid enough to fall for the charm. So I kind of want to get, I didn't pay for the spell, I don't think, or maybe I did, I don't know, but kind of want to get my money's worth on this charm spell. And it's only 3 of them. Like, there's no way they'd be able to handle that ogre if it just started smashing them. But I'm just 1 short on mana. I have to try boosting. And it probably won't even let me boost mana. I don't even know. I don't remember ever using it, but I'm going to use it now. Let's see what we can do. Here's where you spend luck to boost some of your critical stats. Note that you're only allowed to spend 10 luck when boosting stats. However, this is reset each time you go back. Also note that there are occasional choice outcomes that will straight up kill you. Boosting is helpful, but no guarantee for survival. Yes, I am aware I have encountered some. I am aware that there are some choices that will just kill you, not take away health to injure you. Just you die. I am aware of that. I don't think we're in such a situation. Yes, so I can use mana. So I'm gonna pop mana up, and they said I can spend up to 10 luck. So why don't we do that? Mana up to 8. And then just toss the rest in life. 1 more. Yeah. Look, I didn't advertise this as a game. Maybe if I were advertising this as a game for challenge, then I wouldn't do this. I guess going forward, I could just lean into the challenge element, and can promise never to do this again. But I'm just mainly just following the story the way I want the story to go. But that is the whole point of the resources, is to force your choices to have consequences and to make them have weight. I get it. So how about we just won't do this again? But right now, I really want to charm the ogre. Okay. So save. And then let's go down here to charm the ogre. All right. Boom. Mana decreases 3, morale increases 4. We like that choice. You point to the ogre and recite magical words, pausing now and then to blow kisses into the air. That's cute. That's how the spell works. The ogre, who was about to swing his mighty club at Reginald, instead turns his attention to you. You are not entirely sure, but you think you see the soft glow of ogre affection in those large, dark orbs. Oh my. One of the priests throws a large candle at you and then begins reciting a spell. When the poorly aimed and weakly thrown candle misses you, the ogre slams the priest in the face with his club, smashing it like a melon. Yes, yes, you shout to the ogre. Kill them all. Okay. Who's like kind of wanton bloodlust there, bro. The undead corpse springs at you, but the ogre grabs it by the leg in midair and it crashes to the floor. The ogre and the zombie then grapple each other, clawing, biting, and strangling. Reginald has since gathered his wits and slays another of the priests with his sword. The 2 of you fall upon the remaining priest the old medieval way, cutting and stabbing with blades. Soon, that poor fool is nothing more than a bloody mess on the floor. You look over and see that the ogre has dismembered the now motionless undead priest. But in the process, however, it has been grievously wounded. Its neck has been ripped open and purplish blood is pumping out. It looks at you pleadingly before collapsing. That's kind of sad. I mean, like it was like, help me, my love. Like that's rough. But yeah, that actually works out in our favor since the spell isn't permanent, and so yeah, that was helpful. As you and Reginald catch your breath, from somewhere in the castle echoes the distinct raspy cackle of that dark spirit with the hellish eyes. A chill goes up your spine. You do not want to tangle with that thing again. You suspect neither your spells nor blades can harm it. Perhaps it would be wise to run from this cursed place. On the other hand, maybe you could take a few seconds to search the bodies of your recently fallen enemies. But there is still the matter of the merchant's daughter, Siba. What do you do? Okay, I would love to search the bodies. But yes, Siba is still here, and there's no way, like, looting is not as important as Siba. We got so much gold in this place in our packs already. I really just want to find her and leave. We don't have time to search the bodies. We have a head start on this demon, and so we have time, and I want to use that to save Siba. Find Siba first.
Come, Reginald, we must find her, you say.
The two of you are debating where exactly you should go to accomplish this when there is a blood-curdling scream not far off. Before you can react, you see Siba, her eyes bloodshot, run into the candlelight.
Gods be praised,
you exclaim.
Gods, we must flee! A monster comes!
Siba shouts. The three of you run.
The ears!
You complain as you run through the castle entrance chamber. You are referring to the goblin corpses from which you could harvest trophies.
No number of rubbery ears are worth your soul,
Reginald exclaims. Despite your present anxiety, this strikes you as somewhat funny, and you plan to remind him of his words later, if you survive. For now, you do as your friend advises and keep running. The three of you retreat to the forest. You are all exhausted, and so once safely away from that cursed ruin, and reasonably certain no evil follows, you make camp. Because you are still in goblin country, you decide against the campfire. Instead, you will have to just make do with the sleeping roll in your backpack. It is a rather cold night, and you notice Siba carries nothing but her thin, tattered dress. She kneels on the ground, clearly tired, looking up beyond you at the moon. That is not how I imagined Siba. From the description, I thought she was blonde, but sure, I will accept. I'll take that. Brunette, it's fine. What do you do? Offer her my blanket. Offer to share is fine. It's not like I'm going to do anything to harm her, but given everything she's been through, I want to give her the space to process that and like just, what is it called? like, burrito herself if she needs to. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to just ignore her. Yeah, she just went through a lot of stuff. We went through a lot of trouble to rescue her. So yeah, I will offer her my blanket. I could probably warm myself with some kind of magic, right? Offer her our blanket. Morale increases by 1. Life increases by 5. Mana increases by 5. Okay, that's just reflecting that we got rest. My lady, you bow. My blanket is yours. You present the blanket in your outstretched arms. Such a gentleman. She smiles, curtsies, and takes the blanket from you. Chivalry is alive and well in the Fallowland Forest, she says to you. She then quickly gathers up a pile of leaves and pine needles into a woodland bed and curls up.
I'll take the first watch,
Reginald offers, and then sighs contentedly as he pulls out his own blanket from his backpack and wraps it around himself. He then plops down with his back against a tree. You stare at him expectantly and clear your throat several times until he finally gives up his joke and hands you his blanket. You then roll up in it and fall fast asleep. It is your watch, Reginald says as he shakes you awake. After some stretching, yawning, and complaining, you hand Reginald his blanket and take your turn at the watch. Your eyes wander to the sleeping merchant's daughter. A sliver of moonlight has escaped through the branches above and illuminates her delicate nose. You decide that it's a pretty little nose. You feel a pang of guilt. The young maiden has just lost her father, you think. She is not simply some young woman you met at an inn that you might like to try to charm. You were never that good at charming anyway. That was always Reginald's talent. He always told you that it was because you think too much and can never allow your natural charm to shine through. Okay, so I just want to pause and comment. He felt guilty. I think that's silly. That he felt guilty for finding her pretty, for thinking she had a nice nose. I don't see why one has to be entangled with the other. Maybe it does for him. It doesn't for me. I am able to admire the natural beauty of something or someone and not want to do things to it. I can admire that a building looks beautiful, or a tiger looks beautiful, or sunset looks beautiful, as much so as a woman's face might look beautiful, without wanting to engage carnally with any of those things. I don't see why he should need to feel a pang of guilt. She just lost her father. I don't believe that him thinking she had a pretty little nose means that she's just some woman he should try to charm. But I just needed to express that for myself because that's, I don't know, it's a bit of frustration. I think it's silly when people in general think that that's the only type of admiration men are capable of. But moving on, let's continue. And thank you for that advice, Reginald. That's probably pretty accurate. He's probably thinking too much. You turn your attention away from the sleeping girl and into the dark gloom of the forest. It's obvious that you need something to occupy your thoughts in order to stay awake. Checkpoint reached. So, I did already spend a little time reading before this, but this wasn't a full hour. And so, I mean, it's pretty close. Like, if we include what I read in Demon's Choice, it would be, at this point, a good place to stop. And I could go for some rest, although I'm always fatigued, so that's not really anything. I'm just wondering if I want to continue on or just leave it at this checkpoint. They normally just stop at the checkpoint. You know, sticking to habit, I think we're going to go ahead and just stop at this checkpoint as we normally do. And then continue on in another video as I normally would. But I will commit to the fact that I will definitely post way more frequently than I have. I know there was like the holidays and I had physical issues and it's just family stuff. There's things happening at the beginning of the year. You know, I think all of us understand as the holidays move into the new year that it can become easily overwhelming sometimes. It's easy to get distracted, but I can say that I am definitely going to devote more of my time to getting these stories out, read, uploaded. So it shouldn't be too much of a wait. If anyone does start to get interested, I don't want to leave anyone hanging because I know how that feels. So I am going to stop for now. I'm going to upload that small bit of Demon's Choice sample and then what we've read tonight. And then I'm going to get back into reading another this upcoming section here of Wizard's Choice. We're going to really be pushing on Wizard's Choice so we can make progress towards chapter 6, so that because I don't think Wizard's Choice ends there, but that is where it crosses over with Demon's Choice. And I really don't want to spoil that crossover now that I remember what happens. So we're going to be making some progress towards that very soon. Hopefully you all, if you found any interest in this story, you remember to hit the like button and let me know what your favorite parts were, and if you are keeping up with the other bits of story that I read. Where do you think the story is going to go? Again, hopefully you keep coming back so we can finish this story together. And until then, sleep well.